Lesson 4.4 is on solving two-step inequalities. Now you're going to notice that this lesson is very similar to when we had solved two-step equations. Our only difference is that we have a inequality sign in here instead of an equal sign, right? So our rules are going to stay basically the same, right? Our goal is to get the variable all by itself, and in order to do that, we need to do the opposite of what's happening to our variable. Okay, and then whatever I do to one side, do to the other. So all those rules stay in place, as well as following our rules of same sign sum, different sign difference when I'm adding or subtracting, and then we take that sign that's farthest from zero. And then when I multiply and divide, same signs as positive, different signs negative. So all those rules that we have learned in the past, we're going to have to continue to use in today's lesson. The only difference with an equation and an inequality with this two-step is that remembering when we multiply or divide by a negative, we must flip our inequality. Now, we are going to be multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting all in the same problem today, so it's important that you don't flip your inequality when you add or subtract when you see that negative. It's just when you multiply or divide by a negative, okay? All right, let's go. First example, we have 5x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 11. So once again, we will have to solve these and then graph them as well again today. So here, x, we need to get by itself. X is being subtracted by 4 and multiplied by 5. And we've said we will always want to get rid of the weaker operation first, so we need to get rid of this minus or subtraction of 4 by adding 4 to both sides. Our 4's cancel each other out. I'm going to bring my 5x is greater than or equal to sign down, and then I just need to clean this up. 11 plus 4, same sign, so I add 15. Now we're back down to a one-step equation. 5 and x are being multiplied, so we need to divide both sides by 5. X is greater than or equal to 3. Because I had a positive number here and I divided by a positive 5, we do not flip our inequality. So I read that for myself. X is greater than or equal to 3. So this tells me to have a closed circle, and numbers greater than 3 are on the right side of 3. All right, next one. B, being divided by negative 3 and added by 4. So the weaker operation is adding 4, so we need to subtract 4 from both sides. Bring down b divided by negative 3 is less than, now 13 minus 4 is 9. And now I need to get rid of the division of negative 3, so the opposite of dividing by negative 3 is to multiply by negative 3. Multiply by negative 3. Now, since I multiplied by a negative, I need to flip my inequality. And 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. My inequality tells me to have an open circle, and numbers that are greater than negative 27 are on the right side of negative 27. All right. Now, in a problem like this, we are going to have to kind of clean this up a little bit by using the distributive property, and then it'll be a two-step equation. So we got to kind of simplify this a little bit before we can start solving for k. So 2 times k is 2k. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And I'm just going to carry the rest of the problem down. Now I have my two-step equation. So k is being multiplied by 2 and subtracted by 10. So we need to get rid of this minus 10 first by adding 10 to both sides. My 10s will cancel, bring down 2k. And then I have 6 plus 10, which is 16. And now we divide both sides by 2. K is less than 8. I did not have to flip my inequality there because I divided by a positive, so this stays the same. So if I read that to myself, k is less than 8. My less than inequality tells me to have an open circle. Numbers less than 8 are on the side of 8. All right, last example. So same kind of problem. We got to clean this up using the distributive property first, and then we can solve our two-step equation. Now, there's kind of a little bit more negatives in this problem, so it's important that we pay attention to our signs, okay? So negative 4 times positive 1n. Signs are different, so negative 4n. Now negative 4 times negative 10. Signs are the same, so positive 4 times 10 is 40. All right, now we need to get n by itself. So n is being multiplied by negative 4 and added by 40. So we need to do the opposite of this plus 40 because that's the weaker operation, right? And subtract 40 from both sides. 40's cancel out. Bring down my negative 4n is less than, now 32 minus 40. Here I have different signs, right? 32 and 40 have different signs, so that tells me to subtract. So I have to take 40 minus 32, and we should get 8. And then we ask ourselves, which one is farther from 0? 40 is farther from 0, and 40 had that negative sign in front of it, so this 8 needs to be negative as well. Now, I need to get rid of this negative 4, and this negative 4 is being multiplied by n, so we need to divide by negative 4. Now, since I divided by a negative, we must flip our inequality, and negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. Same signs when I divide, positive answer. So n is greater than 2. So when I graph that, my greater than inequality tells me to have an open circle, and numbers that are greater than 2 are on the right side of 2. So just remember that when you're adding and subtracting today, you do not flip that inequality in that first step ever. Okay, we never ever flip our inequality when I add or subtract. So in that first process, first step today, you keep your inequality looking exactly the same. Now in our second step, when you're multiplying or dividing, you just have to pay attention to if you're multiplying or dividing by a positive or negative. If you're multiplying or dividing by a positive, you keep your inequality the same. If you are multiplying or dividing by a negative, you must flip your inequality. All right, homework. Page 150 and 151, you do 4 through 20 evens.